After successfully defeating the sky poison dragon scorpion beast with the others, Xiaoyan watched as the magical beast, in its final moments, shot out a burst of red blood that instantly entered Xiaoyan's body. The beast then declared that with this seal, Xiaoyan would never be able to escape the pursuit of the scorpion dragon tribe. Xiaoyan took a moment to ponder before Xiao Yixan, who had just finished her battle, quickly darted to Xiaoyan's side. Xiao Yixan immediately urged them to gather the items they needed. The commotion from their battle was too significant and would inevitably attract other fierce magical beasts. If they were careless, they might find themselves in another intense battle. Xiaoyan nodded in agreement, then reached for the body of the sky poison dragon scorpion beast. A suction force surged out, lifting the beast's body slowly into the air. As he hovered, Xiaoyan glanced at the large carcass before him. Forming a seal with his hands, a green jade flame shot forth, quickly enveloping the body of the sky poison dragon scorpion beast with intense heat. Under the scorching glazed lotus heart flame, the massive body of the sky poison dragon scorpion beast rapidly shrank. The process took quite some time, and finally, Xiaoyan snapped his fingers. A lump of red blood-colored flesh split open, creating a gap in the beast's body. A blood-red crystal, about the size of half a fist, swiftly emerged and flew toward Xiaoyan. He promptly caught the crystal, which felt like fresh blood, in its hand. Xiaoyan could sense the immense and powerful energy within it, and a smile of joy unconsciously crossed his face. He had finally obtained the monster core of the 7th-ranked sky poison dragon scorpion beast. Gently rubbing the crystal, Xiaoyan carefully placed it into his storage ring. Lifting his head, Xiaoyan's eyes fell on the blood-red flesh within the flame. The flesh still contained the potent blood essence of the sky poison dragon scorpion beast. Xiaoyan focused the flame to compress the flesh and extract more of the blood essence. After a considerable amount of time, a look of happiness flashed across Xiaoyan's face as he saw the formed blood essence. He quickly took out a jade bottle and stored the blood essence inside. Afterward, Xiaoyan turned to Tian Zunj and informed him that this was the blood essence needed to help restore his body. With this, Tian Zunj could have a body once more. Upon hearing this, a warm smile unconsciously appeared on Tian Zunj's face. He nodded in relief, feeling that after all these years, he could finally regain a body. At the same time, he once again felt the comfort of having Dao Qi within his body. He smiled and expressed that he had not misjudged Xiaoyan, and with this help, he would never forget Xiaoyan for the rest of his life. In response, Xiaoyan smiled slightly and remarked that Tian Zunj had greatly assisted him. If he didn't put in all of his efforts, would he be considered inhumane and unfair? Tian Zunj stroked his beard and exhaled, saying that he was truly envious of Xiaoyan's teacher for having such an extraordinary student. Xiaoyan smiled but did not add any further comment on the topic. Xiaoyan then looked around and suggested they leave immediately. They needed to vacate the area as soon as possible because the disturbance they had caused was too significant, and someone might come to investigate. Without any argument, they all swiftly departed. Shortly after, they reached a valley deep in the forest. Xiaoyan quickly mentioned that based on what Sin Lan had said, the experts from the Ice River Valley should have already entered the Fallen God Stream, which meant they would soon find Xiaoyan's group. Sin Lan nodded and added that, moreover, there was an expert with strength at the peak of the Zunj level. Xiao Yixan and Tian Zunj, standing beside her, also nodded. Xiaoyan then continued, stating that if this was the case, they needed to quickly complete the restoration of Tian Zunj's body or the miserable poison body of Xiao Yixan. Otherwise, the situation might not be favorable for them. Xiao Yixan nodded before finally stating that Xiaoyan should first help Master Tian Zunj restore his body. He was an elite Dao Zun in the past, and although he might not be able to quickly regain his peak strength after getting his body back, it should not be difficult for him to advance to the Dao Zun class. Meanwhile, her miserable poison body had never been fully controlled by anyone in the past. At present, Xiao Yixan was uncertain about what would happen once it was fully controlled. Therefore, she suggested that Master Tian Zunj should take priority. In response, Tian Zunj slowly spoke, explaining that the miserable poison body was a unique natural body. When it erupts, even an elite Dao Zun would need to hide from it for a while. If Xiao Yixan could control it, her achievements could be astonishing. Xiao Yixan sighed and said that Master Tian Zunj was praising her too much. Xiaoyan nodded and eventually made a decision. He stated that Xiao Yixan was right. He would help Tian Zunj restore his body first to address the immediate threat. Xiaoyan would refine the yin-yang soul pill, and they all needed to protect him during this period. Additionally, they should avoid leaving the area to prevent attracting more trouble. After that, Sioyan swiftly moved and appeared atop a large rock in the valley. With a wave of his hand, the 10,000 beast cauldron materialized and hovered in the air. Meanwhile, Xiao Yixian and the others nodded as they watched Sioyan begin to refine the yin-yang life soul pill. Sioyan extended his hand and a green jade flame emerged. He then proceeded to prepare the ingredients and began studying the method he would use. Once Sioyan had prepared everything, he waved his hand and a vibrant, beautiful flower descended. The Coast-Face flower was one of the main ingredients in refining the yin-yang life soul pill. The flower was immediately placed into the cauldron and Sioyan began the purification process. With his current abilities, refining a mid-tier 7th rank pill would not be too difficult for him. The process continued with numerous medicinal ingredients added by Sioyan into the cauldron. While Sioyan was purifying the pill, Xiao Yixian, Tian, Zunj, and Sinlan waited 100 meters away from him. They did not make a sound for fear of disturbing Sioyan's concentration. Time flowed swiftly, and 2 days passed without notice. Meanwhile, in the southern region of the Fallen God Stream, where the sky-poisoned dragon Scorpion Beast was left, it was now eerily silent. Soon, the sound of strong winds emerged 1,000 meters away from the stone fortress. Moments later, many white figures appeared on the flat ground outside the stone fortress. Before long, an elder said that the energy fluctuations they sensed 2 days ago should have originated from this place. In response, an old man holding a cane, referred to as Old Shi, directed his gaze toward the stone fortress and stated that there was no aura left here. According to his knowledge, this should be the territory of the sky-poisoned dragon Scorpion Beast. This place had been managed by the Beast, which had reached the 8-star Zunj strength level. The old man squinted his eyes and then said that there was a residual aura of a corpse here. If his guess was correct, it seemed that the sky-poisoned dragon Scorpion Beast had been killed. The elders were shocked, realizing that the beast possessed 8-star Zunj strength. Even the fallen God Stream, this beast was one of the few strongest magical creatures. They wondered who could have killed such a powerful beast. The old man with the cane shook his head and said that besides the quartz aura, there were traces on the ground indicating that the quartz had been roasted at high temperatures. Clearly, someone with excellent fire control must have been responsible. The remaining disciples from the Ice River Valley had reported that there was a young man among them who controlled some very powerful flame. If his guess was correct, this must have been done by that group. The air still carried the residual aura of the sky-poisoned dragon Scorpion Beast, so they should be able to track down the group by following his aura. The old man waved his hand and then darted toward the source of the aura. Without hesitation, the elders, along with the entire troop, followed the old man's lead. Meanwhile, on the other side, Sioyan was still refining the medicine, while Xiao Yixian, Tian, Zunj, and Zinlan waited patiently. 6 days passed unnoticed until finally an explosion occurred inside the cauldron, startling everyone. From the signs emitted, they quickly realized that a 7th-tier pill was about to form. Shortly after, Sioyan opened his eyes, realizing that the pill had formed. A look of joy flashed across his face, and he quickly brought out the Earth Demon puppet. Sioyan did not expect the Yin-Yang Life Soul Pill to attract Pill Lightning because it was a mid-tier, not a high-tier pill. However, Sioyan prepared for any possibility. Soon, dark clouds gathered in the sky, but then suddenly dispersed. Joy surged on Sioyan's face, realizing that Pill Lightning would soon complete the Earth Demon puppet. However, his joy was short-lived when he saw the clouds that had gathered break apart and disappear. Sioyan was stunned and unconsciously asked why the Pill Lightning had disappeared on its own. Sinlan immediately suggested that the poisonous mist in the Fallen God Stream might be too dense, causing the poisonous vapors to obscure the Pill Lightning, which then failed to find its target and dispersed. Sioyan sighed deeply, nodding his head as he heard Sinlan's words. He thought it was possible, but he had another reason. The Yin-Yang Life Soul Pill might not attract Pill Lightning. Such a pill, although considered a mid-tier 7th rank, barely reached that level. If not for its unique effects, it would only be considered a low-tier 7th rank pill. However, aside from feeling unlucky, Sioyan also felt grateful because he was pressed for time and did not have the luxury to deal with Pill Lightning. Sioyan muttered to himself that now that the pill was successfully refined, the next step was to refine the body. Sioyan promptly stored the medicine cauldron in his storage ring while taking out a corpse, which turned out to be Yunshan from the Misty Cloud sect. After retrieving the corpse, the body purification method taught by Yao Lao flowed into Sioyan's mind. Moments later, Sioyan calmly nodded and waved his hand, suspending the corpse in the air. Sioyan then waved his hand again, and a mass of glazed lotus heart flame appeared. The flame swiftly engulfed the corpse, melting the ice covering it. Sioyan then turned to Tian, Zunj, and asked him to provide a thread of his spiritual power. Hearing this, a strand of spiritual power separated from between Tian Zunj's brows and was given to Seaoyan. Seaoyan immediately grasped the spiritual power and tossed it into the corpse. Afterward, the yin-yang life soul pill was also thrown toward Tian Zunj. Seaoyan instructed him to consume the pill and to enter the body as soon as Seaoyan gave the signal. Tian Zunj nodded with a serious expression and put the pill into his mouth. Meanwhile, Seaoyan quickly retrieved a jade bottle from his storage ring. After seeing that Tian Zunj had consumed the pill, the interior of the jade bottle was filled with purple-red blood that exuded fierce and violent energy. This was the essence blood of the sky-poisoned dragon scorpion beast. Seaoyan's hand exerted great pressure, and the jade bottle shattered. A large cluster of liquid blood dispersed, and with a wave of his hand, Seaoyan directed all the blood onto the corpse surrounded by flames. The process continued for about half an hour until the essence blood gradually merged into the corpse. Suddenly, the corpse's closed eyes opened, its vacant eyes now filled with fluctuating power, clearly due to the soul thread of Tian Zunj. Seeing the corpse's eyes open, Seaoyan shouted for Tian Zunj to enter immediately. Tian Zunj, who had been waiting for the command, was filled with excitement upon hearing Seaoyan's words. His illusory form swiftly rushed toward the corpse, penetrating the glazed lotus heart flame and merging with the body enveloped in red light. An unusual red-black ripple emanated from the center of Tian Zunj's brows as his soul made contact with the corpse. The ripple spread rapidly like lightning, covering his entire body. Sin Lan and Xiao Yixian wondered if everything had been completed. Seaoyan quickly responded that it was not yet finished. Tian Zunj would have to endure the burning of the heavenly flame and gradually gain control over the body. Only then could it be considered a true resurrection from the fire. After a brief explanation, Seaoyan instructed the two to head to the valley entrance and stand guard. The Earth Demon puppet would assist them, and Seaoyan reminded them not to let anyone in. Hearing this, both of them nodded, retreating to the valley entrance along with the Earth Demon puppet. Seaoyan then turned his attention back to the corpse in front of him, which was writhing in agony within the heavenly flames. 3 days passed, and on this day, the sound of strong winds suddenly emerged from the distance in the long, silent valley. Moments later, a man in white clothing, carrying a snake-shaped cane, slowly appeared about 100 meters from the valley entrance. Many white figures began to appear one by one behind the man. On the other side, Xiao Yixian, sitting at the valley entrance, also opened her eyes. A grim expression instantly surfaced on her beautiful face. Noticing something, Sin Lan was startled by Xiao Yixian's demeanor and asked what was happening. A cold gleam flashed in Xiao Yixian's eyes, and she stated that it seemed the people from the Ice River Valley had arrived. Sin Lan's expression also changed upon hearing Xiao Yixian's words. She hurriedly looked out of the valley and indeed saw several white figures in the distance. Suddenly, a voice asked Xiao Yixian if she was the poison maiden with the miserable poison body. Xiao Yixian did not respond to the voice, her expression turning icy cold. She clenched her fist and grayish-purple Dao Kai began to surge out of her body. Soon after, a hunchbacked figure holding a snake-shaped cane slowly appeared in front of Xiao Yixian and Sin Lan. With the appearance of the hunchbacked figure, a gust of wind roared behind the old man, and soon many white figures landed behind him in an orderly fashion. Xiao Yixian narrowed her eyes as she saw the old man who had appeared before her. She muttered in her heart that this was indeed a peak Zunj class expert from the Ice River Valley. The old man named Tian laughed and stated that because they had killed the elders from the Ice River Valley, according to the valley's rules, they would be captured and executed. Sin Lan, recognizing the old man, immediately informed Xiao Yixian that he was the valley master of the Ice River Valley named Tian. Xiao Yixian was immediately shocked and her expression changed slightly. When Xiao Yixian entered the Pill region, she heard rumors that this old man was not only strong, but had also cultivated the Ice Zunj force in the Ice River Valley to the highest level. Moreover, whenever this man fought, he would not leave anyone alive. He relied on the Ice Zunj force to freeze his opponents into living ice statues, instilling fear in anyone who saw them. Meanwhile, on the other side, Tianji immediately asked why only the two of them were present. He clearly remembered that there seemed to be a young man and a spiritual body with great power. He immediately asked Xiao Yixian to have the two of them come out. Today, he would not let anyone leave, and if they did not, it would be difficult for him to be accountable to the valley head. In response, Xiao Yixian laughed coldly and said that she was worried the old man wouldn't have the capability for that. She then turned to Sin Lan and asked her to go to the valley and guard Xiaoyan along with Tian Hu Zunji. Sin Lan nodded helplessly and quickly leaped into the valley. Meanwhile, Tianji immediately said that he couldn't remember the last time he had exchanged blows with someone with such a wretched poison body. However, he had a deep impression of that person. Today, he would see what level the wretched poison body of Xiao Yixian had reached. Tianji then lifted his staff and ordered the 3 elders to guard the 4 corners of the valley. Do not let anyone escape from this valley, he commanded. With that, his feet stepped into the empty air, rising upwards. His eyes glanced at Xiao Yixian and the earth demon puppet, before he laughed and declared, besides Xiao Yixian, no one else will leave this valley alive. Xiao Yixian's face sank completely, and she muttered to herself that she could only do her best to buy time. Hopefully, Xiaoyan could increase the speed of the fusion of Tian Hu Zunji's body. Xiao Yixian took a soft breath and immediately moved her feet. At the same time, the earth demon puppet stomped on the ground and rushed towards Tianji. Tianji smiled and asked if this was a puppet. It's indeed somewhat extraordinary, he said, but the peak of the Duzong class is not something that can be contested by mere quantity. With that, Tianji clenched his wrinkled hand, causing the space in front of the earth demon puppet to fluctuate. Moments later, the space became a tangible substance that collided with the earth demon puppet, sending it flying. A cold smile appeared on Tianji's face as he waved his hand, and a large palm appeared before Xiao Yixian like a bolt of lightning. Xiao Yixian's face changed slightly as she felt the chilling coldness suddenly approaching. She muttered that this was the power of the Ice Zun Force, which was very terrifying. A seriousness surged on Xiao Yixian's face as dense grayish-purple Dao Qi quickly emanated from her body, colliding with the terrifying cold air that surged in all directions. Tiny ice shards appeared in Xiao Yixian's grayish-purple Dao Qi. Xiao Yixian was forced to retreat in defeat after just one exchange. A peak Daozong expert was truly very powerful. Meanwhile, Tianjin only smiled slightly after defeating Xiao Yixian with one palm strike. Tianji immediately said that it seemed Xiao Yixian didn't need to go to the valley. The Fallen God Stream Valley was not a bad burial place. It should be a good place to bury Xiao Yixian's bones. Tianji then slowly withdrew the smile from his face as he stood in the air, his gaze dark as he stared at the entrance of the valley. 2 figures slowly walked out. Tianji's eyes rested on the young figure before he shifted his gaze to the old man who was smiling. After that, his dark expression slowly turned tense, and he subconsciously muttered, "Is this the power of a Dao Zun?" The atmosphere fell silent as the 2 figures swiftly flew towards Xiao Yixian. Xiao Yixian immediately asked if Xiaoyan had succeeded. Xiaoyan nodded, then smiled and asked if Xiao Yixian was alright. Xiao Yixian replied that she had only suffered some minor injuries. Hearing that, Xiaoyan quickly checked Xiao Yixian's condition before turning his gaze to Tianji in the sky. Xiaoyan's expression became unsettled and anxious, and he smiled, saying that the Elder's strike was truly heavy. On the other hand, Tianji's expression darkened seriously as he glanced at Xiaoyan. Then his gaze shifted to Tian Hu Zunji. Although he hadn't said a word, the sense of pressure emanating from his body made Tianji feel as if his heart had tightened. This kind of pressure was something he had only felt from the valley head of the Ice River Valley and other old devils who had always surpassed him. He thought that it seemed this person should have had a spiritual body and had just reached the power level of an 8-star Zunj. However, it seemed he had done something deliberately to enhance his power. Tianji then sighed and told Tian Hu Zunji that they could choose not to pursue the matter of Xiaoyan's group killing the Elder from the Ice River Valley, but right now, its Ice River Valley couldn't let those people go. Therefore, hopefully, with the face and reputation of his valley head, Tian Hu Zunji immediately interrupted Tianji's words, saying that he didn't know the valley head of the Ice River Valley. Therefore, Tian Hu Zunji didn't think he should give him any face or reputation. Tianji's expression darkened slightly as he heard Tian Hu Zunji's words. With his status and power, it had been a long time since anyone dared to say such words to him. Soon after, Tian Hu Zunji's robe suddenly lifted, even though there was no wind around. Shortly after, a great power slowly spread out, surging in all directions. Realizing this, Tianji's eyes grew darker and he said, "Does Tian Hu Zunji really want to become an enemy of the Ice River Valley? Don't think that we are afraid to face Tian Hu Zunji just because he is an elite Dao Zun. The Ice River Valley has never feared anyone." After that, the space around Tian Hu Zunji's body began to intensify. Tianji quickly retreated several steps before finally ordering everyone present to form the mysterious, profound, strong dragon formation. Immediately, they spread out and formed a very mysterious formation. At the same time, strange white cold air rose before gathering in the sky and attaching to Tianji's body. He then spat blood that quickly mixed with the clumps of ice, forming a massive dragon. Tianji shouted angrily while pointing his finger at Tian Hu Zunj. The massive dragon roared and shot towards Tian Hu Zunj like lightning. Tian Hu Zunj gently slashed the space in front of him as he saw the icy dragon aura shooting towards him. A dark black spatial crack immediately appeared out of nowhere, sucking in the dragon aura, shocking Tianji. Tian Hu Zunj then rubbed the spatial crack with his hand, and the strange spatial line disappeared. He raised his head and directed his hand towards the distant dragon, suddenly clenching it while releasing a spatial strangulation technique. The massive dragon's body was forcibly torn apart by spatial distortion, and the dragon was completely swallowed by the dark black light. On the other side, Tianji and the others' faces immediately turned red as the ice dragon was destroyed. They quickly spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. At the same time, Tianji and several others staggered and retreated before finally stabilizing themselves. Tianji thought that this person's control of spatial power had reached an extraordinary level. He did not seem like someone who had just entered the Zunj class. He finally said that his Ice River Valley had miscalculated about today's issue. With this person protecting the wretched poison woman, it was impossible for him to capture them alone. He could only return and inform the valley head about this matter. The strong cold air gathered in his palm, and he punched the empty space behind him. The space immediately distorted, and a dark black spatial tunnel appeared behind him. He shouted for an elder named Bing Xiao to go with him. Realizing this, Xiaoyan hurriedly shouted for Tian Hu Zunj not to let them escape. In response, Tian Hu Zunj quickly reacted to the situation, directing his palm towards the distant black spatial tunnel before clenching it mercilessly. Invisible ripples spread out, and the spatial tunnel quickly began to collapse. Tianji's expression changed completely as the spatial tunnel began to collapse. A cold gleam flickered in his eyes, and he swung his palm, striking the back of a white-robed elder. Terrifying cold air surged out, sending the elder flying, with hidden strength injected by Tianji into his body. Soon, the elder's body was enveloped in icy cold air until it exploded violently, the explosion blocking Tian Hu Zunji's attack. Tian Hu Zunji was shocked. He hadn't expected Tianji to use another elder's body to escape. On the other side, the two remaining elders quickly moved to escape. However, as they were about to move, Tianji smiled coldly and his palm imprinted on their backs. A violent, fierce force shot into their bodies, causing them to swell, and terrifying cold waves spread like lightning in all directions. The disciples of the Ice River Valley on the ground quickly turned into many living ice statues. Their life force was completely frozen at that moment. Meanwhile, Tianji, with a pale face, quickly entered the collapsing spatial tunnel. He said that this was a small world, and they would meet again. Today's matter was not over, and they should all wait to be killed by the Ice River Valley. As his voice ended, the spatial hole closed immediately. In response, Tian Hu Zunji furrowed his brows slightly as he watched Tianji escape. He hadn't expected that person to be willing to sacrifice 3 Daozong elders to flee. Xiaoyan then glanced at Tian Hu Zunji and said that Tian Hu Zunji had just obtained a body. Although his spiritual power had been greatly strengthened in an instant, the Do-Ki in his physical body couldn't fully recover in such a short time. He had relied entirely on the spiritual power within his body in the previous battle. Otherwise, Tianji would likely not have been able to escape. Soon, Tian Hu Zunji, who was in the air, moved and appeared beside Xiaoyan. He shook his head helplessly and said that he could have destroyed the spatial tunnel earlier, but that person was truly too ruthless to throw 3 Daozong experts like bombs. Xiaoyan just smiled and nodded, then said that the important thing now was to find a more secret place to help resolve Xiao Yixian's wretched poison body problem. With that, Xiao Yixian could fully control her wretched poisonous body, and the Ice River Valley would have to think twice before touching Xiaoyan's group. 2 elite Daozons could be a very strong force, even in the Central Plains region. Since Tianji had escaped, the Ice River Valley would soon learn about them, so they probably couldn't stay here any longer. Moreover, the falling Godstream Valley was not a suitable place to help Xiao Yixian resolve her wretched poison body issue. This time they would have to find a place filled with hot light, and such a place could suppress the wretched poison body. Hearing this, Xin Lan immediately explained that she knew the place Xiaoyan had mentioned. Xiaoyan was delighted and asked where the place was. Xin Lan explained that her Yi clan had a unique place called the Sunfire Ancient Altar. The sunlight from the sky would gather there at noon. There was a hole in the ancient altar that reached deep underground. Sometimes, some core fire seeds would emerge from the hole, and if the core fire seeds came into contact with sunlight, they would transform into a kind of flame. This flame was called Sun Flame by her Yi clan. This type of sun flame might not be a heavenly flame, but it was much stronger than ordinary beast fire. Some of the Yi clan's ancestors often borrowed this type of sun fire to enhance the success of their pelt refinements. Unfortunately, the sun flame could not exist for too long, and it would automatically dissipate. Seoyin hesitated for a moment before deciding to go to the place Sinlan mentioned. Finally, it left the Falling God's Stream Valley and headed to the location Sinlan had mentioned.